And now, from beyond our dimension, this is the JeffMara Podcast. Here's Jeff.
Hello, everybody. Happy Saturday to you. And if you're on the other side of the planet, happy Sunday to you. It's been a busy week, and I'm happy to see you guys and happy to have you here. Let's see. Should I get started? Is there any announcements? I guess I can say this first. If you want to join me below, Merlin was here and he left. I don't know what happened to Merlin. Maybe he'll be back. Anyways, below in the description, it is the Zoom ID for the room and the passcode. So if you want to join me, all you have to do is go to Zoom, click join a meeting, and then it'll ask you for the passcode, and it will ask you for the well, first actually it'll ask you for the room ID, and then it'll ask you for the passcode, and you enter those and you just get in line. It's pretty simple. I don't know if you guys saw my let me I like background music. Excuse me. While I'm talking. That's a little bit about me. I don't know if you guys know, I used to be a DJ, and whenever you just have nothing in the background, we used to call it like dead air. It just seems a little bit more interesting with some background. Anyways, well, there's Merlin. We'll bring him in just 1 second. I finally did my first video overdubbed in Spanish and Portuguese, and I actually submitted another one today, and I'm waiting for it to come back, and I'll probably submit that in a couple days. And so it'll be interesting to see, if they're going to get any traffic. I might end up, if it's a, I don't know, I'll talk about that later. Anyways, let's bring in Merlin. Let's get him here, and let's don't make him wait. And we haven't seen Merlin in quite some time, so it'll be interesting to see. Whoa, Merlin.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. You're in your car today. That's new.
Oh, truck.
Your truck. Did you? That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's
cool.
cool.
I thought come out here until I don't think it's good to be doing tarot, because I don't think anything's going to be accurate with all these crazy things happening. This is it's best just to trust yourself.
Mm-hmm.
At least he's coming in a couple of weeks. I feel like
what's coming in a couple weeks?
Well, a lot of change possibly. It's going to be very important these coming couple of weeks, I feel like.
You know that, I don't know if you know this or not, but I interviewed 2 psychics around the beginning of the year, and both of them, I believe, said that something financially is going to happen in May. And now you're saying something in a couple of months. I don't know if that has to do with financially. A couple weeks. Yeah, a couple weeks, which should still be in the month of May. So.
Well, they were right, because we had all these banks start collapsing and stuff. A lot of them, they turned belly up, because they mishandled their own procedures and the money, and weren't cautious or something, or they didn't have it. When people want to get their money, there's nothing to get, because they done squander it away by investing in this and that, and so. But but the big banks are going to be okay.
Yeah.
Just the small ones are getting eat up, by the big ones. But
So, well, where have you been? I
mhm.
haven't seen you in like a month or two.
Oh yeah, I've been all over the place. Just got a lot going on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to get everything situated to relocate soon too, as well.
Really? Where are you going to move to?
Um, the UK.
The UK.
Yes,
Wow,
yes.
what a big change. Did you meet a girl or something and you're going over
Oh
there?
yeah,
You
for
did.
over 2 years now. Yeah.
Nice.
So I went over there not too long ago.
Hmm.
I sent you a picture of me.
Right. Yes, that's true.
And now it's her turn to come over here. We just go back and forth, take turns and
Hmm.
stuff. So that's how we've been doing it. So we already have a lawyer. We just need to get all the paperwork done. For the only thing holding me up is my pet, because they're really strict on with pets and stuff.
Hmm.
So if
Well,
you get anything wrong, they can detain your pet or something like that. And
right.
I got loose ends to tie up, with my place too. So just a lot going on, So, and a lot of crazy energies and stuff. But I don't know if I told you guys this, but you know how everyone's like, oh, it's a frequency, and
Hmm.
it really is, and all that really means, tuning into higher frequencies, and or if you're low vibe, all it really means is a state of being. You can be in a state of depression, happiness, and all that stuff. It's just different emotions, I guess.
Hmm.
But one time, I saw like this ancient Mayan circular stone. The one
The
everyone's.
calendar.
Yeah, I saw it, and I was turning it like a dial,
Hmm.
and I think I really tapped into something. It's like they were having conversations. Like there's some people that can telepathically talk to each other. Sometimes sometimes it's just like send messages, stuff like that to each other back and forth. Like what I intercepted was like a girl saying, "Hey, what are you doing here? Get off of here." He's like, "Yeah, you." And I was confused. I was like, "Oh my god, this is real." But that so so they just people can do that. I don't like you keep asking you want an alien or something to be one of your guests and stuff. I mean, they probably already been on your show. I mean, because think about it, there's not going to be any rational alien come on and go, "I'm an alien, here I am," because that would put their lives at risk or whatever, possibly. So
Well,
yeah.
at least off the air, they could tell me they're an alien. That would be nice.
Well, yeah, but it's like in the grand scheme of things, we're all like um one. Because if you we're what gives rise to consciousness, and the illusion of separation from each other, is like we all been fractured. Consciousness has purposely or accidentally fractured itself in different states of being and awareness. But if the reason why we're all connected is because spirit is all the same. It's the same spirit. It's just been fragmented, fractured into different points. And that's what gives the illusion of individuality. So when they
Hmm.
say like whatever you do to help them, it helps you, because it really does. So when you help other people, you're helping yourself. Literally, you are. So it's just the illusion of separation. So even aliens and stuff, we're all connected. Even so um, I don't really believe aliens, non-aliens. It's irrelevant. What matters is what we do for each other. What
Hmm.
can we do to help someone else?
Yeah.
You know. So that's how I'm at right now. And like I said, tarot cards it's gonna be all over the place right now, because like I said, but I think things are going to play too. Like I said, watch the next couple of weeks and see what happens. Um, and I think things are start to slow down a bit. Really,
So,
you
are
know.
you saying you're not doing tarot cards at all anymore?
Oh no, 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 no! I'm just not. It's just like I don't think I can get an accurate reading right now
Oh,
at the moment.
you think that there's
Maybe.
too much weird stuff in the simulation here going on that you can't get an accurate reading?
Well, yeah, yes, but the simulation hypothesis is really, really probably what's happening here. Because I know for a fact, reality is not what you think it is or what we think it is. Like again, we're all connected, we're all the same source spirit. We're just been fragmented into different vessels, and
Hmm.
it gives the illusion of individuality. In reality, that's why when people pass on, they're at peace because they realize what they were looking for was always there with them the whole time. So that's why people come back and they're just happy because they've seen the truth of everything. But the simulation, yeah, I know. One time I was like 19, and I was like having a bad time or whatever. I was like, just give me a sign. And right as I said that, a truck went down my road with a trailer with a bunch of signs that said sign. And I mean, it's just like on cue like that. And that kind of shifted my reality a bit. What is real, what's not real. And a lot of people say we're in the holographic reality because there was like 3 scientists that were awarded a Nobel, right, for saying that basically what they came to the conclusion the universe is non-locally real and local real. It can't be both. It's impossible.
Right.
So they're saying that's that throws a monkey wrench in the hypothesis of the Big Bang. Even Michio Kaku, the physicist, he works on string theory. He's a specialist in that. You know that.
Mm-hmm.
Even he's like, I'm at a loss because with the James Webb Telescope again has seen larger galaxies that shouldn't even be formed that long ago. That just throws everything out the window. And a lot of people say that it's always been here, the universe, or something like that. So there's probably a lot more merit to that, than some just like random Big Bang and it's all for nothing. I don't believe that. There's a purpose for everything. Like I said, picture source, right? This is source. And what happened was when that creation went off, everything got fragmented into different aspects, into different things and different consciousness and stuff like that. And again, we're all connected. And that's why when you help other people, it makes you feel good because you're helping yourself. Right. So that's how I see it. But other than that, just this next couple coming weeks going to be like really important, probably. So it's going to be.
When do you think you're going to be there full time?
Well, there's like a waiting process. So it's probably going to be a few months.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's going to take some time because I still like in the process of getting a deed and stuff for the house that I have here. The goal is to have 2 different locations, like one over there, UK, and one here. I'm not going to sell this place.
Yeah, that's smart.
Yeah, just in case, you never know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, other than that, I'm fine. I'm okay. I mean, but I really believe 2 weeks from now it's going to be something. It could be crazy, but after that, it's going to slow down. Like energy. A lot of people keep saying that time's going by faster and faster and faster, and I feel like that's true. But because it's all out of whack, it's all out of sorts. That's why you get all these volcanoes and stuff going off now. And people keep hearing these strange noises. To me, that tells me the tectonic plates are really, really, really tight, rubbing together. And so that's what's happening. Just shift. The planet's going through it. It's all energy shifts. Everything. Nothing's ever going to remain the same. Energy is always in motion, always ever changing. So, but I wouldn't worry too much about those sounds and stuff people keep reporting. I don't think it's a big deal. But I really believe that we all need to start loving each other a lot more in this world. Quit being so hateful. Just because somebody disagrees with opinion and stuff, we should be more accepting, and kind of understand where they're at. And that's what I try to do now, is because I didn't realize how biased I actually was until I started listening to something I at first didn't even agree with, and then like, oh, I see why you think that way, But anyways,
Minnie Rapunzel is asking what part of the UK?
London.
London, all right. So you'll be there with all the action.
Well, that's where I went last time, and I it's expensive. Like everything's like crazy expensive.
Are you going to work there?
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
Have you heard of the Arthur Findlay College?
I have not. What is that?
That is the college over there in the UK that I think it's very famous, and you can go like study just different stuff like being a psychic, and I honestly I
Oh,
don't know the curriculum of what they have there, but they may even have tarot reading there, but they have all kinds of
oh,
stuff.
yeah,
It reminds me of like Hogwarts and Harry Potter.
yeah. I know what you're talking about. I just didn't know the name. I know
Mhm.
now. Yeah, I gotta go visit that place for sure to improve my tarot skills and stuff. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, it'd be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Merlin, I've got to run, brother. I've got someone waiting on me. I'm glad you
Yes, sir.
checked in, and maybe in a couple weeks when something is, everything settles down, we can get a reading from you, another group reading.
Yes. Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, brother,
And
you take care
remember,
of yourself.
love everybody. Love each other. Okay.
All right, we love you, Merlin.
Love y'all. Love you too.
And that was a big round of applause for Merlin. All right, next up is Andrea. So it's nice to check in with him because we haven't seen him in quite a while, and it's nice to know that he's doing all right, and he'll be back. So next we have Andrea. I thought it said Thomas. This looks like Tom's. Maybe it's Thompson.
Okay.
Andrea.
Love y'all. Love you.
Hello, can you hear me okay?
Yep, I can. Just make sure that you mute the YouTube.
Right. How do I do that?
I don't hear it yet. Maybe you already did. I think we're okay. So where are you zooming from?
I am zooming from Reno, Nevada.
Reno. Cool. Well, that's awesome. I have a friend
Yeah.
there that's a radio DJ.
Oh, how funny.
Yeah. One of the rock stations. At least he was. I don't know what he's doing. He was actually, I think he was a radio DJ, but he was also like the program director or something like that. Reno. What's the other town right there? Sparks?
Yeah, they're right connected to each other.
Yeah. Whatever the rock station there is.
Oh, nice. I think it's like 104.5 or something.
Probably. Something like that. Well, that's cool. Well, what do you have to share with us tonight?
Oh my gosh, whatever you would like me to share. I can
Well,
tell you about anything that's going on right now.
well, what is the most impactful thing that's going on right now?
I think the most impactful thing that's going on right now is the shifting of the timelines. And
Hmm.
kind of like your last guest was talking about, the timelines really coming together and being so close. I think that they're about to all collide together into maybe like one or two timelines.
Now, are you saying timelines as in, some people will say that all time is happening at the same time, the past, the present, and the future. And so all of those are merging? Is that what you're saying? Or something else?
So
Or alternate?
that
Go
is
ahead.
also happening, right? So time is very weird in the 3D, in this physical realm.
Mhm.
And so, in this physical realm, we have all sorts of different timelines that are happening simultaneously. It's almost like different conscious thought processes of different human beings and collective human beings.
Hmm. So how can somebody perceive that this is happening?
Well, I don't know if you've heard of, oh gosh, what was it called? Some sort of effect. It's like, it's not
Um,
Mandela effect, but some sort of effect that there's small changes that happen when you shift these timelines. You wake up feeling a little different. Your eye color might look different. Something is different. It's very unique.
Hmm. Have you had some kind of spiritually transformative experience?
Me myself, I don't believe that I have had any experience like physically like that, but energetically I can feel the shifts and changes.
Hmm. All right. Well, what else can you tell us? You were asking me what to talk about, and I don't know what you know.
Oh my goodness. Like you were just talking about aliens and ETs, and
Mm-hmm.
you were asking, why they're not coming out.
Right?
Um, well, a lot of times it's because they're at different frequency stages. And so basically we can access them and see them, but we have to be on that frequency to be able to see them and to work with them.
Right. It's so interesting that you say that because tomorrow I'm going to be posting a video of a woman that is an ET contactee, and she was at a CE5 event, and people were just, I guess someone who was leading it was telling everybody to just take out their cameras and take random photos, whatever, of the crowd. And this
Yeah.
is not even her photo, but what looks like, even though she couldn't see it with the naked eye, in the picture, it looks like about a 3-foot ET. She's sitting in a chair, is standing right next to her.
Yes.
And you guys will see that tomorrow night, that photo.
Oh, how exciting. That
Hmm.
is that's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, there's another guy that I had. I can't remember his name. It's probably 200 videos back, but he set up infrared cameras in his house. We didn't show the video because he didn't give me access. We just directed people to his YouTube channel, but he had the cameras kind of angled outwards. And if you go to his channel, it looks like an alien peeks his head around the wall, blinks his eyes, and then disappears. It's kind of freaky.
Okay. Since I was a child, I've been able to experience other realms,
Mm-hmm.
like
And
the
what?
angelic.
How? Sorry to interrupt you, but how do you do that?
You know, I thought everybody just did it. I think it was I don't think I know because I asked, where did these come from, these gifts? And they told me past lifetimes I utilized them. So I was in ancient Egypt. I've seen all sorts of past lifetimes where I was able to use these gifts for purposes. The technology that we had back in ancient Egypt is like, I can't even describe it. It's out of this world. Portals, all sorts of ways that we would communicate with other beings and gods and goddesses. So,
Have you seen an ET yourself?
oh, yes, I work with them all the time, but it's not like they're here in the physical, they're in other realms. So, like, I can access that realm when I either go into a meditative state or
Mm-hmm.
in my sleep.
Hmm. Do you mostly contact ETs or other beings?
All
Like
sorts of,
entities, angels, fairies?
absolutely. I work with all of those.
Cool. What would you say is, um, have any of these beings given you any messages for humanity?
Messages for humanity. Yes. So, a while back, there was this big like I got a visual of a big wooden wheel, and it was all like spider webs and very, very, very old. And it said karma, like
Mm-hmm.
like the karmic wheel, and good and bad. But that was just for me to understand what was happening, or negative and positive, not good and bad. And it was on negative, and you could hear the wheel as it shifted. It was so loud. And what they were saying was there's been so much oppression and so much trauma, and the earth itself is transmuting energy with people. And so as that wheel shifts, human beings are also transmuting and shifting. And so right now what's happening is these huge energetic releases and healing of not only us as humans, but of these timelines of like our ancestral lineage.
Mm-hmm. Hmm. What's so interesting is well, first Merlin was mentioning the Mayan calendar, and then you said the wheel, and it brought it back to my memory again. Do you remember in 2012 when it was the end of the Mayan calendar?
Yes, I do.
Do you think anything happened after that? I mean, obviously, there's nothing, there's nothing obvious that happened, but do you think something happened energetically?
I absolutely do. I think it was Althea who was on your show. She
Mm-hmm.
has bright red hair.
Okay. Yeah, that's Althea from South Africa. I forgot her last name.
She had talked about the different it was either her or the spiritual closet person. I can't recall, but one of them had spoken about um how there's these moments in time that have been placed in time to help shift what's happening currently.
Mhm.
And I do believe that that was one of them. So, like the fall of the structure and the housing and everything that was going on during 2010, 2008 to about that point, there
Right.
was a shift. And in 2018, 2019, we had another shift. And then I think we're going to have another shift very soon here.
What do you think's gonna happen with that?
Oh, there's a lot that's going to happen. I think there's a lot of healing that's happening within humanity. And I think that we are being asked to step up in a way that is very different and unique from what we have before.
Hmm. All right. Do you think that that has anything to do with the ascension? Or are we
Absolutely.
already in the ascension?
We are already ascending.
Okay. All right. Well, if people want to learn more about you, do you have a YouTube channel or anything?
I actually don't.
Oh,
You know,
you're just here to share.
I know. I'm just now starting to really come out with my spirituality in this
Hmm.
last 10 years, and I was doing readings and things like that.
Hmm.
So,
What kind of
um
readings did you do? Like,
I do collective, so I check in with collective energy and I put that out, and then I do personal reads. So sometimes I'll do mediumship readings, sometimes I'll do like connect with your guides or stuff like that.
so you were saying earlier that that ability, you just kind of have always had it, the way I understood it, because you said that you thought everybody could do it. You think you
Yeah.
were born that way, or is it possible you had some type of trauma or NDE as a baby?
I do believe that I was born that way. I do believe that I brought those gifts here. I remember my mom telling me as a baby that I knew things, and what I don't remember this, but she told me about this, that I would say words that there's no way I could have known. Um, that I knew all of my alphabet, all of my colors. Just she's like, you were just weird as a baby.
Hmm. Do you feel like you have memories of a past life?
Oh yes, I have a lot of memories of past lives.
That's amazing. All right, Andrew. Well, I appreciate you coming and sharing. It's nice to have a new guest here tonight. I hope you come back and be one of our regulars and share some more with us. And I wish you the best.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you and have a great rest of your evening.
You too. Bye.
Mhm. And let's give her a round of applause. And next we got Michael Suarez, the Dream Detective.
Good evening.
Hello, Michael.
Hey, good evening, Jeff. Good evening, everybody.
How are you today, sir?
Oh, I think I told you that last time with my martial arts professor, right? Good and getting better. That's the only answer we were ever allowed to say. I'm good.
Great.
I just
What brings you in tonight? Are you going to talk about dreams or something else?
I actually had in my heart this week, I was like, hey, I think I'm gonna come and share some interesting dream stuff. But there was something else in my mind, and I thought it was, and I really do want to share that because I do dream interpretation all the time, and I did a wonderful interview about it yesterday,
Oh, great.
like on the phone with somebody, I mean.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I wanted to just take a break from that and share two experiences which I definitely think are relevant for like a wonderful show like this and for the audience, which have happened to me. I can tell you before God and man that like I'm just speaking this, trying the best I can to call it like I see it.
Okay.
So both of these have to do with angels.
Wow. All right.
So yeah, both of these have to do with angels. They're not stuff I've shared before.
Mm-hmm.
And unlike so many other things I do, there's an element of faith, right? So again, all I can do is like give you my sense as like a person who's had these spiritual experiences and what I sensed of it, and again then how it occurred as well. So the first one was when I was about 18 years old. I ate something and I actually ended up having some sort of condition with inflammation in my stomach. And basically I was bleeding, right? So they took me to the hospital, and I was like sweating. This is the moment, the primary moment. So I was they brought me to St. John's Hospital, and I'm sitting there. I'm in like in the waiting area, where they have the people, before the doctor can see you. And my mother is up trying to talk to a doctor or nurse, and I am totally out of it. I remember sweating intensely and just being like, like I don't know. I'm a pretty athletic person, so it's a very different state to be so out of it. And while I was there, all of a sudden, this little girl who was about 10 years old appeared next to me, right? On the stretcher. I was on the stretcher. She appears next to me, and she was so fascinating. Like, she had this straight brown hair. She was like a Caucasian girl, but like she almost gave off like an Amish vibe. And the main thing that I always remember about her, she was so serious and so intense. Like, she was just staring at me like little kids don't act like that, And then she reached out and put her hand up, like, this is, I'm telling you, like, this happened. Like, she reached out, she put her hand on my head, and she started praying. I think she started praying in tongues, right? And then I remember my mother came over to her and was like, "Oh, little girl, it's okay, it's okay." And she kind of like tried to usher her like away. And then for me, but again, I have to admit, I was in that state. Well, the next time I looked up, she was nowhere to be found. Right? And then after that, the doctors had a very hard time and had to hypothesize about what was wrong with me. They were like, "We think you have Crohn's, or we think you have ileitis colitis," right? Or something like that was triggered. But they actually, like, I was fine after that. They put me in a room for a while, and they made me do all this cleansing and stuff. But so that's that one.
That's
Like I said,
amazing. That's amazing. And I've had a couple guests that have had some type of encounter in the hospital. I've had a guy named Kevin was on, and I think there was a nurse that kept coming in and out of his room, and then he asked the staff, and they said there's no nurse that works here. But she was also wearing a uniform from like the 1940s, which nobody wears.
The main thing, like I said, Jeff, about this girl that I'll tell you that you just that makes it funny for me is she was so serious. Like, it was almost like she's on a mission, and who knows, maybe I'm prophesying, right? But yeah, that was one of them that, of course, glory to God. So the other one is different, and it's very interesting. So I was having drug issues when I was like a teenager, like 18, 19. And I was running wild and kind of, as we are apt to do at that age. And I was figuring out like how to get my life together. And then what happened was, one morning, I kind of got to like return to that space. So like one morning, it was like 7:00 in the morning, and I had been like tripping the whole night and stuff. And it was like, being out of it, you know what I mean? And I just, something inside me spoke, and I yelled at the top of my lungs. I said, "I want to be free." Right? Like, I screamed it intensely. And then immediately I knew I had to go tell my parents, right, that I was having these issues. So I just went and quickly, I just did it. And then I ended up going to a program called Victorious Overcomers. But I'll never forget this. So to he who has ears, let him hear, because you will know. So then after I called and I talked to my mother and I hung up the phone, I went and I sat down in the living room. And all of a sudden, so inside of me, what I would have to call them inner ears, I heard all this cheering, like a stadium. Gloria a Dios. Like a stadium full of people cheering, like a football game. And it wasn't until many months later that I read where it talks about that in Luke 15:10. And Jesus says that when one single person repents, all the angels in heaven rejoice. So, yeah, that's my second testimony. I hope that was a blessing to everyone.
Well, thank you for sharing that with us. Um, so, if people want to find out more about the Dream Detective, you have a YouTube channel, right?
Yep.
And is it called The Dream Detective or is it called Michael Suarez?
It's a Creative Learning New York.
Creative Learning New York. All right.
Yeah.
And then your website is.
Well, you can get to it because it's my portfolio page where
Mhm.
I have samples of dreams that I've done, which is my Strikingly page. But yeah, you can get to it either by going to my YouTube page or going to my IG page or anything like that, or contacting me. It's been, again, that has been great. That has been like, Jeff, we live in an age where, well, I guess maybe it's always been like this, but it is fascinating when I think of that, I get to have these experiences of like professionally interpreting dreams,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it's amazing.
What,
Did you
what an
ever join
amazing world.
Did you ever join the Discord?
Yes, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, we
okay,
have
great.
feedback. Yeah.
All right, awesome. All right, Michael, well, thanks for popping in. Good seeing you again. I wish
Great
you the
show.
best and have a great rest of your evening.
All right, you too. I'll take my applause.
All right, take care. Here's your applause.
Give it
I don't
to
know if you
God.
can hear it. All right, and before I bring in Terry, I just want to say to Fairies of Venus, thank you so much for that. Super thanks. We really appreciate it. And then next is Terry Renner. So I mentioned Discord, and if you want to join our Discord, by the way, you go to discord.com, you get your free account. And then if you go to the description below, there's a link to it and you can join it and you can hang out there. You can chat, you can post memes, videos, links to whatever you want. It's kind of like a chat room, kind of like Facebook, but you can also video chat and you can also audio chat there.
Hi.
Hey, Terry.
How
Welcome.
are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Great to see you.
Where are you Zooming from?
I am Zooming from Kansas City.
Kansas City. Wow. All right. Cool. I just had somebody from Kansas City recently. I don't know if it was a guest. I know I've had one guest a long time ago. His name's Darren. He had an amazing NDE where his aorta, his main pipe of blood, just blew up. And I'm almost wondering how he survived that, but it must have been divine intervention.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah. So, what would you like to share with us tonight?
Well, tonight let's share something about me. No, it's not about me. It's about my angels.
Well, that's okay. That's all good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, all right. I was going to ask a question, but I think it's best if I just let you share it first.
Okay. So since a child, I've had my guides around me, and they taught me how to jump out of my body,
Cool.
and how to blow bubbles, all sorts of things, orbs around me. And they also taught me that when entities that were a little bit darker came in, I could turn the channel like a channel on a TV, to leave that area or that dimension. Then later on in life, I mean, as a child, I was teaching metaphysics and dream interpretation at a place called the School of Metaphysics, from 12 to 17. And then kind of went in and out through Buddhism, Unity, Catholicism, all sorts of things. And then, as my mom was passing, as she was dying, there was a church right by, or not a church, a hospital. Same thing sometimes, right? So
Yeah.
there was a hospital very close by, and somehow it connected me to, I think it's Archangel Israel. And I was just, all these entities started coming into my room at night. And I knew that they were coming because they were leaving the hospital. They were leaving their bodies, and they were troubled. They weren't able to find their way. So at the time, I was calling in Jesus and Archangel Michael and St. Peter. Um, And now I think it's probably Archangel Ezrael to help them go to the light. And at times there were some that didn't want to go to the light. They wanted to stay on the planet. They weren't ready. And it was like, I was like, that's free will, but you can't stay here. So that's that story.
How did you get the ability to contact with them?
I have no idea. I think it was just there in the beginning, and it just never really stopped, but it kind of reawakened. You know how it is when we're going through trauma and all of a sudden something awakens in you and you don't know how, but you have this growth opportunity and you get there.
Would you consider Archangel Azrael the angel of death?
The angel of transformation.
Transformation. Okay. It's so interesting because I was recording a podcast today with a woman who encountered the angel of death, but she reframed it, and I like what she calls it, the angel. I think she called it the angel of transition.
Same thing. Yeah, definitely. I love that too.
Yeah. Oh, 1 second. People are saying that they can't hear you.
Oh, okay. I'll get a little closer to the mic. See
I
if
don't-
that helps.
I hear you fine, but I can understand some hard time hearing the guests. Well, maybe you can get a little closer.
Okay. Here we go. How's that, guys?
Hopefully that's better. I like your necklace. What is your necklace of? It looks interesting.
Oh, thank you. This is Atlas, the ring, and this is a piece of vintage turquoise, and it's a pyramid, and the two of them together just kind of spoke to me, but inevitably the turquoise turns to my throat chakra.
Oh,
So
cool.
I kind of like it like that. Yeah.
So are you able to contact angels at will?
I usually have a pretty full room, Jeff. Yeah, definitely.
I mean, are they like there? When you say that, a full room, are they there all the time, or just only when you ask them to be there?
No, any intuitives that I've talked to in the past have always been like, wow, there's so many people around you.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I always have at least one. I have the angel of love and light, and she's always in this room. And I've got a painting back here, and she likes that. She likes these colors, so I've kind of decorated the room for her.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun, but definitely Metatron, Archangel Michael's always here, or one of his angels, an aspect of him, perhaps.
When you say that they're always there, do you believe like everybody's here? It's just turning a radio dial, like a frequency?
100%. Yeah, yeah. It's like turning that TV dial. So, like the angel showed me when I was young. Yeah.
Can you give us tips on how to do that?
Oh, 100%. On a daily basis, when I wake up, I do my I do my chakras, and I do a meditation. But the first thing I always do is call in my angels, my guides. Also, I call in my ancestors, and I call in all my spirit animals. So, and I consider these animals that are here in body part of my spirit animals, part of my angels right now. They're part of the angelic realm.
I'm going to do something because people are still having trouble hearing you. I went into my Zoom settings and I just turned up your volume there. And
Okay.
And now,
sorry about that, everybody.
No, I just never know, and it appears like it's okay. Let me try this. Say test 1, 2, 3.
Test 1, 2, 3.
Okay, I see that. Let me turn this up too so everybody can hear.
Test 1, 2, 3.
Maybe this will be better. I have also another thing that I could maybe this will work better. I have different guests all the time and I'm always adjusting stuff, and so maybe something just needed to be adjusted. We'll see.
Okay,
There's
good.
a little bit of a delay between what we talk and when they hear it. There's probably like a 30-second delay. So
Sure.
that's really strange. That doesn't make any sense. They're saying, I'm surprised that they would say that they can't. I'm hearing you perfectly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now they're
Well,
saying, now someone said volume is perfect. Okay, so that's the
oh,
first one.
excellent.
Much better. All right, so now we got
Thanks,
it. We got
everybody.
it
Sorry
fixed.
about that.
We did it. We did it.
Yay.
Yay. All right,
Well,
so,
good.
all right, so I don't even know what they heard. I almost feel like we should start over.
Okay. Do you guys want us to, or um,
So she had, for those of you that are there, I guess you haven't heard it. Maybe you've heard my questions, but she's had an ability to speak to beings on the other side, whether they're angels. Do you also speak with ascended masters?
yes, yes. Saint Germain is pretty regular here. Um, um, and I have galactic entities that come in on a regular basis at this point in time as well.
Mm. And you've just had this ability all your life. You didn't have an NDE as a child or anything.
No, I did not. No, I was just my earliest memory is jumping in and out of my body and seeing my angels around me.
On your very first time you jumped out, why did you jump out?
Because I was having fun. It was a game.
Oh, wow. Oh.
It's kind of like doing a backward somersault or backflip,
Mm-hmm.
and you just kind of lift up your feet inside your body and jump out the back.
Mm.
So, kind of fun.
Has any of these beings given you a message for humanity?
Yes, on a regular basis, I channel them now.
What's the
So,
message?
the message is always love. That's always the base of the message. Also, to come together, that to realize that we are all co-creators, and you are creating what you're going through right now. So if you want to see the news and what's going on out there, and get upset with it, you're creating that. If you want to see, but be aware, don't hide, don't stuff your feelings, be aware. But also, when you're aware, it takes you that part about away from it, where you can be aware and you can watch things as they go on, and you can manifest what you're ready for in your life.
Can you give us tips to manifest?
Sure. The greatest way to manifest is to go to the superconscious, to the purple or violet flame. And when you get there, you kind of see the space between time. You see the space between atoms, and it's all there. Everything's right there. All the information that you want is there. Also, when you get there, um, you can talk to a lot of people, you can see a lot of people, you can get a lot of information, but anything you want, just ask for it. And don't ask for it, request it. That's a very important part of it.
After you ask for it, should you expect it?
100%, that or better. This universe is made of energy, and you need to ask for the energy that you want, because you're going to get energy one way or another. So if you ask for what you want or request what you want, there's definitely a better chance of getting it.
Do you have a YouTube channel?
Yes, sir, I do.
All
It
right.
is Terry at Holding Your Space.
All right. What kind of content do you post there?
I do channelings. I work with shamans. I work with some other intuitives that are on YouTube.
Cool.
Also, I have Jean Mail coming on the channel. I don't know if you're
Who is
familiar
that?
with her.
Jean Mail?
Jean Mail. Yeah,
I don't know her.
Oh, Jeff, I want you to have her
It
on.
doesn't mean anything, because there's a lot of amazing people I don't know.
Yeah, so she's been around for quite a while. She has 2 degrees from Harvard
Wow.
and a master's from, I think, Farmington. I can't remember.
Wow, she's a smart
But
woman.
she decided she wanted to be an intuitive.
Hmm.
So that's
Yeah.
what she does. She has a forum and a website.
Oh, that's great.
Anyway,
Are you a trance channel or a conscious channel?
I think I do both.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on what you're thinking that they are. I also do mediumship and mediumship, some tarot, and I work with light and do a lot of meditation, healing.
if you're up for it and you think you can do it, and if you're up for it, maybe you can come next Saturday and you can channel and we can take questions from the audience.
I would love that.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Please.
We've done that
Okay.
before, and if you would be up for that, I think it would be cool. I like to get the audience involved and take their questions, so I think that would be fun.
Okay. Yeah, I'd love that. That'd be awesome.
All right, great. Well, that's awesome. All right, Terry. Well, listen, I got to run. It was a
Okay.
pleasure meeting you, and we will see you next Saturday.
Okay. Thanks, everybody.
All right,
Bye-bye.
take care. And a round of applause for Terry. All right, next up is Maggie Smith. All right, this is like a good, I can only take one person at a time anyways, but it's working out with somebody's show, so I'm just kind of like staying on schedule. It was a pleasure meeting you, and we will see you next Saturday.
Okay. Thanks, everybody.
All right,
Bye.
take care. Maggie, are you there?
Yes.
All right, can you mute the YouTube video? I think you did that. Oh, nope, you muted yourself. That's okay. We'll figure it out. Now I turned up the volume pretty loud for Terry. If Maggie's too loud, you guys let me know.
I still don't understand how to turn it on, so maybe I'll just have to go.
All right, I clicked on a message for you that says start video. Do you see that? So you can start the video? There you go. All right, you made it.
Okay.
Welcome. Uh-oh, you muted yourself. Let me help you to get back.
I did the wrong thing.
I don't hear the YouTube video right now. Well, I think we're okay.
I-
There it is. So you're going to have, it's going to be in a window behind the Zoom. You've got to go down and find that YouTube window. And then it's probably
I've got YouTube on. Okay.
that says start video. Do you see that? So we can start the video? There you go.
Let me.
You made it.
Okay.
All right. I think we got it.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right,
Well,
Maggie. Well,
I can't
welcome.
see. If you can see me, it's okay.
We see you. We see you
All right.
perfectly. So, Maggie, welcome. And where are you Zooming from?
West Virginia.
West Virginia. Okay. What, Morgantown or where?
Oh no, nothing that cosmopolitan.
Oh.
I'm in southern West Virginia. Anyway,
Well, what do you have to share with us this evening?
well, my apologies because I haven't seen a lot of what's been on because I just probably about 20 minutes ago I came in
That's okay.
from outside. But I loved your last guest
Thank you.
that had the lady that said that she'd lived with an alien.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Not like tonight, but a recent guest this week.
Recent guest.
Oh yeah, she was amazing.
Yeah, I love that. And
Heather.
And at first I saw her and I thought, no. I mean, I've been into the UFO stuff, but it was just like, that's pretty far out.
Mm-hmm.
And then I listened to her and I thought, this kind of makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess one thing I wanted to share, one thing that she talked about that I really identified with
Mm-hmm.
is, how you ask for something and then it shows up and then it scares you.
Yeah.
And so you've had that experience too. Yeah. So this was I think about 18 years ago, but I had at that time, well, since then I've been, noticed a lot of channelers with the Pleiadians and stuff. And it's people don't realize it's like, there's not just one group of Pleiadians, it's just a huge star system.
Mm-hmm.
And there's all kinds of beings and they all don't look like us and some of them look like us and so forth. But anyway, at that time, that the knowledge was the Pleiadians that Barbara Marciniak channeled. So I had asked, for them to come. And then one night I'm in my bedroom and they showed up.
What did they look like?
They were kind of in shadow form and they weren't real tall and they were like in a circle together and it had a very female energy to it.
Interesting.
But when they showed up, I immediately panicked and they immediately left because usually the really beneficial ones, they're very sensitive to being invited and how we feel about something. So if you panic, usually I think they will like go away.
Right.
I think the grays, now that's something different, but yeah, so I think mostly the ETs, and I think sometimes well, I had lunch with Charles Hall one time. I don't know if you know who he is.
Who is
but
that? No, I don't.
Charles Hall, he was the guy that was the weatherman out at Area 51, kind of out by Groom Lake, who had the experience with the tall whites.
Wow.
And so apparently he's a really interesting guy. I don't know if he'd come on the show or not. He's got a few books, and you kind of have to go. His wife kind of handles the appearances and stuff. He doesn't do a lot of interviews, but
he sounds like a good one to get.
Oh, he would be great to get.
What is his name? I'm gonna try to remember.
Charles Hall.
Hall. Do you know him personally? I mean, you had lunch with him or something.
No, I used to go when I lived in Arizona. I used to go to the Phoenix MUFON, which is a great MUFON, and he was one of the guests. And they used to be able to help cover expenses. You could put in, it was like a lottery, and then you would go to somebody's house and have lunch with the guest.
Cool.
And it's been a great experience to be able to meet people, and then sometimes they would do a sky watch. And then a lot of times the guests would go to the sky watch, and you could just kind of hang out and look for UFOs and talk to each other. But so it was a wonderful experience. There's nothing like that where I live now, for sure. Anyway, so anyway, I had lunch with Charles Hall because I happened to win the lottery thing to have lunch with him. So, and he and his wife were there, and it was just he's just a really sweet man. and of course, I'm very much into the UFO stuff anyway, so I'm not it's not hard for me to believe this stuff, but yeah, he has his experience with the tall whites, and he's happy to talk about it, and it was really interesting, and it's really a unique experience he had because he was in the military when it's really strange I'm talking about that now because that's not all what I was going to talk about, but serendipity. Anyway, so yeah, so he was in the military, and he didn't talk about it for a long time, but he had an instance. It's just very different, and they didn't give him a lot of information about stuff, but they really trusted him. He can tell his more of his story. He probably wouldn't appreciate me telling everything, so because they do have the books, but yeah, and I don't think Area 51, since so many people know about that. I think the U.S. has moved operations, and I don't know if the tall whites have moved operations from that area or not. But it was super interesting, and it's basically they have a base there, and they live a long time. They live like I think as long as 900 years.
Wow. Did
So
you see my video with Terry Lovelace?
no.
Terry Lovelace is a pretty famous UFO contactee, and that was one of the videos that after I recorded it, both due to recording it and some things he said off the air that really kind of spooked me that night. After I got off speaking with him, I was walking around and I was kind of freaked out a little bit. But if you ever see that one, it's there, and I don't remember what it's called. I don't know the title. I'm sure if you just do a search, JeffMara Terry Lovelace. But when he was a young man, early in his military career, him and a friend went camping, and they had an ET, and they were camping in a spot that they weren't supposed to be allowed in, and a ship came down, and maybe they had some lost time and who knows what happened to them. But 20, 30, 40 years later, he's moved on with his life. And we're not going to give it away. There's a lot of strange things that happened. But he moved on with his life, and he became an attorney, and he got as far as the assistant to the Attorney General for the state of Maine. So very high. And he told me that he wrote this book. Well, he ended up writing a book about his UFO experience and didn't release it till after he retired. But anyways, back to that. About 40 years later, he was going for a jog and he had knee pain. So he went to the doctor, and a standard thing they do is just take an x-ray of your knee. You know, probably at his age, they would want to rule out arthritis. And in the x-ray, it's like a computer chip with 2 wires. And it's clear as day in the x-ray. Me and him are going over the x-rays, and the ETs told him not to take it out, and it's pretty wild. But I mean, that's an amazing account that I think, you know, may spook anybody if you listen to it.
I'll definitely go back and listen to it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've had Tom Reed on or not, but Tom, his story is he has so much documentation for his story. He's interesting and a really nice guy. I know he was interviewed by the behavior panel at one point to see if he was telling the truth and stuff, but he has documentation as well.
Mm-hmm.
But Charles Hall, you know, that was an ongoing thing for him because he's working as the weatherman, and all the previous people that had worked out in that area basically had gone crazy and had to be discharged because it was too scary for people. So
right.
It was that was able to, you know, deal with it. So
well, even Heather's from the other night, I don't know if you remember, where she said at one point, I guess she figured it out or something, and she ran into her room and locked the door and kind of barricaded the door.
Yeah. Well, I just, you know, so everybody, you know, we have to ask. I'm working on asking for a lot of in my, you know, everyday reality and in other realms. You know, I'm trying to do that across the realms. So right now, but just remember, if you ask, it might happen. So
well, I keep asking that I want an ET to come here and be on my Saturday Night Live. So maybe one will show up.
Yeah.
Can you handle if an ET came here during the live stream?
Yeah. Actually, I did have oh gosh, I don't know if I want to talk about this or not, but I did have ET show up in a room where I did my past life regressions with people. It wasn't my bedroom, but it was another bedroom and where I lived. And I had one show up one day, but I think it might have been an instance of like bilocation.
Mm-hmm.
It was very the ET was very ethereal looking, but the vibe from that was very, very loving and very kind. And usually when I see something, I'm not a psychic or anything, but you know how it is, once in a while you'll see something. And so usually sometimes I'll just see a head or like a torso, or it's hard to see the complete body sometimes. And I think that maybe I could be wrong, but that may be beings that like are bilocating, because I think that that's something probably we'll be able to do in the future, but their actual physical body is maybe on another planet, but they can project here. So I think that's what that was, but it was just a lovely being. Yeah, so I've toyed with learning to channel and stuff. I think if I did learn to channel, that would be probably somebody that I would be able to channel.
All right, well, Maggie, thank you coming and sharing with us tonight. I hope you come back again.
Okay. Okay.
I appreciate you. Do you
Remember
have
Charles Hall?
Charles Hall?
Yes.
Charles Hall. Okay, I got to
His
remember
wife
that.
is MT, so you might need to talk to MT.
MT. Okay, let me get a piece of paper and write that down.
Okay.
Because I may forget it, and I talk to so many people. You guys can't imagine that so many people, and I'm not complaining. It's just part of the job that so many people either recommend guests to me or, message me or email me and ask to be a guest. So it gets, and it's even getting more, which is great. You know what I mean? Because that means I'm getting bigger. But sometimes it's hard to keep it all sorted out. Sometimes I lose emails and forget about emails because so many are coming at me.
Write tall whites next to it.
All right, give me 1 second. I had to grab a pencil. Okay, Charles Hall Tall Whites.
Right.
Now, do you know who Grant Cameron is? He's a famous UFO guy. I'm kind of in the works of trying to get him on. Hopefully that'll work out. And tomorrow night, I don't know if she's still here. I saw her in the chat. Sinead was here. I have my guest for tomorrow night is Sinead Wellahan. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. She was at an SCE Vive event, and someone took a picture, and it looks like an ET standing right next to her.
Yeah.
Even though you couldn't see the ET face to face with your naked eye, but maybe again it was in a different frequency where the camera picked it up.
Yeah, I have a friend that's a really amazing medium, but she doesn't do it for a living.
Mm-hmm.
And she's very visual and she sees stuff. And she gets very disappointed when I don't see stuff, because she thinks if I can see it, everybody should be able to see it. And it's like, no, I don't. I believe you, but I don't see it. So, she'd be a great one to have on the show, but I don't think she'd do it anyway. But
you never know.
Yeah, well, maybe I should work on that.
All right, Maggie. Well, I'm going to run. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. I hope you come back and have a great rest of your weekend.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. You too. All righty, there was Maggie. Yeah. Okay. So Mika's here. She got a haircut the other day. We tried to give her a lion cut. So, but for some reason they didn't keep her face fluffy. And we kept like, if you can see here, we kept like that. We wanted to bob her tail, and we made it like she has little boots on her feet. Let me turn that down. It's a little bit too strong. All right, so once again, if you want to join me, all you have to do is go to Zoom, and then you click join a meeting, and then once you click that, it'll ask you for the room ID, and then that is down below in the description, and then it'll ask you for the passcode, and that is also down in the description. And then all you have to do is key that in, and here you will be with me. What else is there? There's my personal Facebook profile, so you're welcome to friend me. I'm accepting guests until I run out of 5,000. And you'll see there that my last name is Reynolds. Mara is my beloved wife, and she is the very important unseen part of the podcast and the video editor. So it's our names together. It doesn't happen too much anymore, but still from time to time, people will say, "Thank you, Jeff and Mara." And then I see the comment after that. People will go, "Who is Mara? I thought he's Mara." Or I thought that was his last name, but that's who Mara is. So back to that. You're welcome to friend me there. We have the JeffMara Facebook page, and so there's a link to that. There is, we have other channels. I have a music channel that eventually I'm going to start developing like meditation type music. So I have some stuff there, and I just got access. I'm so happy. A long time ago, I recorded these. I recorded music, and I made these like little alien music videos. And I hadn't been able to get access to them, and I finally got them after so long. They're really cool. It's original music with this alien stuff, and I'm gonna re-edit them a little bit and post them on the music channel. And I'll have to post links so you guys can come check those out. So those will be up, and eventually I'm gonna put, like I said, meditation music up and different stuff like that. And so that's there. We used to have, we have a cooking channel. We used to do stuff with that, and we kind of put that on the back burner, and I may start getting back into that a little bit. I have some things that I want to make videos of, but I'm waiting till I get a new place to record. And so, there's one video on there that it's interesting. It's the one video that has almost all the traffic. It has over 1 million views, and it's teaching you how to make broccoli sprouts or sprout broccoli seeds. And you guys many of you already probably heard this last week, but I break it down super easy so you can learn how to do it. I mean, you water them twice a day, and it shows me watering them twice a day and pouring out the water and all that. And so broccoli sprouts are amazing, and they're super concentrated of antioxidants. As far as I understand it, in 1 teaspoon of broccoli sprouts, you have 100 times the antioxidants of a cup of broccoli. So it might be something that you want to implement in your diet. I used to do it. I need to get back into it. We used to make shakes or smoothies with that and with fresh turmeric. Not the powder, but just the root, and grind it all up and make it into a shake. So I know I need to get back into that. Yeah, from what I learned, turmeric powder only is effective up until 1 month when it's converted into powder. After 1 month of it being powderized, it's basically worthless medicinally or therapeutically. Maybe that's the better word to say it. I'll put it like that, actually, therapeutically. So if you want to get the benefits of turmeric, then it's best to just get the root itself and pulverize it into a liquid and add that to your smoothies. And also, what I learned if you're going to do broccoli sprouts is that you can't mix it with dairy because it binds up the receptor, so you can't really absorb the sulforaphane. So you have to do it with either water or coconut milk or almond milk. And one last thing is, to be able to absorb the turmeric, you have to mix it with black pepper, because that also inhibits something that's blocking the absorption of the turmeric or the curcumin. And those are in the video, so you can kind of learn about that. But that's there. Like I said, the music channel's there. This is going on. There's a link there to the NDE clips channel. I was taking videos or just clips of videos out of the NDEs for people who only have time to watch the NDEs, and so most of them are about 5 to 20 minutes, and some people don't want to watch the intro and don't want to watch all the questions, which honestly you could just stop once the NDE's over. It really is no difference. But I tried to create it. Well, I created another channel for that, so you can watch those. And last thing is, it's not here, but we're creating, well, I'm not doing it, someone's doing it for me, creating a website for JeffMaraPodcast.com. And I think that'll be up this Wednesday. Right, and I'm still working on this. And by the way, if you see today's cup, the one that I have pinned to the product, that was designed by our very own Penny here, Penny Sutton. I don't know, I saw her earlier in the chat. I don't know if she's still there, but she designed that. And she designed just a JM JeffMara logo, because eventually we got to get around to, I want to take things that people say and create them on t-shirts instead of, like, the JeffMara podcast. Like, there was something that a guest said today, and I shut off my computer, but she said that, and I'm trying to paraphrase from what she said, but she basically had a saying that said, kindness is God's love in action. And I thought that was really nice. So that would kind of be like a cool, t-shirt or a coffee mug. Like once a month, we want to put out like something that a guest has said, something profound or fascinating or very interesting or whatever, on a cup. And so maybe some kind of new design like that, like something that you feel inspired by. And then we'll just put the little JM that Penny designed for us so that you knew it came from us. So that's with that. And I shut off this computer right here. I was going to give you the days, what's coming on, what's going to be coming up next month. I work with 2 computers, actually 3 computers, but I usually work with 2, and I have one right here. And it's getting older, and it makes a lot of noise. And this mic is super, super sensitive. It's a very high-end vocal mic to record vocals. And I mean, it just picks up the slightest thing. It picks up the slightest sound. And it's been picking up that computer in the background. And I can't stand to hear that noise in the background. So sometimes I just shut it off. And it was starting to distract me tonight, and I shut it off. But I don't have access to who I'm seeing. I can tell you that tomorrow is going to be the one with Sinead about ETs. The Monday night's podcast is going to be with Shakina Rose from Sedona, who had 3 NDEs. And she's also a angelic singer or something like that. And again, I can't read off my computer. So that's going to be on that. On Monday, I'm supposed to be recording 2 people, an ET person and the YouTuber named Alex Ferrari. So we'll see what he's up to. Probably a lot of you guys watch him. So those are who I'm recording on Monday. On Tuesday, I don't know, because I can't see my computer. Can you ask questions if you don't know? All right, yeah, you guys are welcome to ask. There was someone in the chat that I saw earlier that said that she was in line, but she's not here. It said like Reverend something. Reverend somebody. And if you're trying to get in, I don't see her there. But if you would like to ask me questions, feel free. It's been a long time since we haven't gone person to person to person to person to person. I mean, it's been probably a couple months. There it is. Reverend Melissa Kennedy. She said, I'm thinking I'm in the waiting room, but no one's in the waiting room because I pull it up and it's here and it's empty. It's just me, the host. So, yeah. Maybe you'll be able to get in here if you like. And there's a lot of people that approach me about being on the podcast. And sometimes I just feel like it won't work, or they're not a best fit for a 1-hour podcast. And so I tell them to come on Saturday nights. And a lot of times they do. So it says was up or something. That's I don't know, Reverend Melissa Kennedy. Are you on Zoom? Because what you need to do is go to Zoom, join a meeting. And once you go to join a meeting, then it will ask you for the room ID and then the passcode, and you key those in. And it looks like, I guess you're well known here. People seem to be excited to see you. Where is Leonard? And it's just one of those days. I did. And you guys are welcome to ask me questions while we are waiting for the next person. It's like a chill night tonight. It's a relaxed night. If you guys were here, I mean, most of you guys always come. So last time, I don't know if most of you were here last week, but last week we went an hour overtime. And that was the longest one we've ever done. It's pretty wild. Make an NDE. Where is cake tonight? What inspires you about this podcast? Oh, that's a good question there, Top Notch. What inspires me is all the people writing to me and telling me how much these NDE videos help them. There are so many people out there that I've come to find that are suffering and grieving, and most likely due to a loss of a child or a loss of a parent or a sibling. And they write to me and tell me how these videos are helping with their lives. It's amazing. I mean, it's something that I would have never expected to happen. But it's such a beautiful benefit. Okay, I think we got Melissa here now. Let me help her and click Ask to Unmute and Ask to Start Video. That's a good question. How many people living in the world do I think have pre-birth memories? I have no idea. Melissa? Oh, no. Melissa.
Yeah.
All right, you made it.
I figured it out. Hi, Jeff.
Hi. Nice to meet you.
Thank
Give me
you
one
so
second. Thank you.
Yeah.
Give me 1 second. See, I had to turn up the mic a lot for a guest earlier.
Can you hear me?
No, I hear you. It's almost too loud. Let me see.
Okay.
I'm going to turn it down just a little bit. I think it's on my end.
Okay. Mhm.
So let me balance that out. Where are you from? Where are you Zooming from?
I live in Oklahoma.
Oh, what part?
Okay, probably 40 miles from Tulsa, Oklahoma.
40 miles east, west, north, or
Yeah.
south?
Yep. Like east from there.
So
yeah.
you're close to you are close to Arkansas.
Yes.
What is in that Temecula? What is in that direction? I know those little
I'm close to
towns.
Fort Smith too.
Fort Smith.
Yep.
Because I've had so many guests that are from Bentonville, Arkansas, and tell me how
Okay.
awesome it is there. Dolores
Yep.
Cannon was from Eureka Springs, which is not too
Yeah.
far.
Yeah, not
And
too
so
far.
I had been looking at housing over there, and I kind of looked from there all the way to Tulsa. So I've
Mhm.
seen those little towns in between there. What is the
Yeah.
name of yours again?
I live in a town called Fort Gibson. It's
Fort
very
Gibson.
small.
I don't remember that one.
Yep. It's like the oldest town in Oklahoma.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. So do you go, when you have to go into town, do you go into Tulsa or do you go into Bentonville or Fort
Well,
Smith?
there's closer. There's a small town called Muskogee and
Muskogee, yeah.
Tahlequah. In
Yeah.
Tahlequah. Yeah.
Tahlequah. See, I knew that was the name I was looking for. I don't know what I said earlier.
Yeah.
Temecula or
Wes
something.
Studi. You know Wes Studi? He's from Tahlequah.
Tahlequah.
The
No,
actor that was in Last of the Mohicans.
I don't know him. No.
Wes Studi. You'd know him if you looked him up. It was a while ago, so it would hit you when you saw him. Yeah.
This is just a way off the subject, but while we're talking, I was watching this video on YouTube one time, and this guy was driving through all these tiny, tiny little towns of Arkansas that,
Mhm.
500 people, 1,000 people live in, and just way, way out. And one thing he came across was two famous people. It's surprising. One was this tiny little cemetery, and it was the family cemetery of Glenn Campbell.
Oh, wow.
Glenn Campbell's buried out there, and his whole family's buried out there, and he got out of his car. It's like on the side of the road in the middle of nowhere, and you get out of the car and you walk around, and then it starts playing Glenn Campbell music.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and then there's another little town, I don't know where it was, somewhere else in Arkansas, and the guy said, here's another little cemetery, and Billy Bob Thornton has bought his burial plot and Angelina Jolie's when they were married. And I think maybe his father's buried there or something.
Oh, yeah, I think I remember that. I remember that story. That was a while ago.
Right.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
anyways, I'm getting way off the subject.
No, but I have one more to add. Mr. Ed is buried in Tahlequah.
Is
where
that
he
a
retired.
horse?
Yes.
Wow, a
Yes.
talking horse?
Yeah. That's
Oh,
funny. I
that's
thought I'd add that.
amazing. That's
Yeah.
cool. Well, you are a reverend, right? Is that you?
Yes,
What are you a
yes.
reverend
Uh-huh.
of?
I'm a metaphysical practitioner. I
Mhm.
have my bachelor's degree in metaphysics,
Cool.
and I am, a practitioner of that.
Hmm.
That is my life mission. We have a job, but then we have missions.
Right.
And so now my mission is to help people with their spiritual journey.
I wonder how many hours it is, and I was trying to look that up. How many college hours is it to get a bachelor's degree? Do you have any
Uh,
idea?
I should know that, shouldn't I? But
Maybe
I
somebody in
don't.
the chat will know that because I was trying to add up how many, every podcast is about an hour. How
Mhm.
many hours of guests do I need so I can consider I have a degree in
Oh, I'd say
in
you're
paranormal?
right. You're
I'm
probably
at
right there.
700, so that's about 700 hours, so I'm pretty close.
Yeah, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah,
Hmm. So what do
yeah.
you have to share with us?
Well, I have so much to share. I mean, I'm an angel channel.
Hmm.
What brought on my awakening was when my dad passed away in 2016. So ever since then, I mean, I always knew I was different, experienced life differently, always fascinated with metaphysics, paranormal, angels, the lives of saints. I was always absorbing all of that. People just fascinated me, and their stories always fascinated me. So that's why I love your podcast, because it's real people
Yeah.
sharing real stories, right? And that's awesome. But I have so many. I have an ET story. I have like 3 ET stories.
Really? Did you
I
see them
have,
consciously or meditating?
well, both, but I've had experiences where I lived in Maine. Ironically, you were just talking about that. So one of my first experiences with ETs was in Maine.
Hmm.
So I was driving down the highway, and this was back in like the late 80s. And all of a sudden, there was nobody on the road because I lived in a small town, well, called Lincoln, and I was driving from Bangor, Maine, where incidentally Stephen King is from that area, right? So I used
Hmm.
to see him all the time. But I was driving from there back to Lincoln, and it was just dark. There's no street lights, and all of a sudden this light appears in the sky, caught my eye, and it just kept getting closer and closer and closer. And the person I was with were looking at each other and were like, "Oh my gosh, what is that?" And then all of a sudden, lapse of time, like an hour goes by, and we're driving back down the road again, wondering what the heck happened. So that
Wow,
was the first.
that's amazing. A whole hour of lost time.
Yep,
Have
that
you
was
ever
the
got
first one.
have you ever got hypnotized to see what happened?
Um, well, no, I haven't.
Hmm.
But I do have more stories. So we
Mhm.
had another one in Maine, and we lived in this really small town called Jonesport, Maine, and it's down East Maine. They call it Sunrise County. It's where the sunrise comes up first in the United States. Anyway, there's a Air Force base there. I don't know if it's still there. I can't even think the name of it right now. It's been so many years, but I'm sure people will probably know if there's anybody from Maine. But anyway, we were in our house. I was going to college at the time, and all of a sudden our neighbors called us up, and we started hearing this really loud noise, like this rumbling noise. And we had a 50-acre farm on the water, and it was like really out in the middle of nowhere. But we had neighbors across the street. It's very rural there, and they're freaking out. She's calling us. There's something over your house. There's this big bright light. We thought there were people riding four-wheelers out in our field because we had, like 40 acres of field out behind our house, and then it was right on the water. So my dad was freaking out, running around the house. My mom was on the phone, and we hear this noise, and we don't know what it is. And then we see the light, and all of a sudden, everything goes flash. And my dad was running for a shotgun right before that because he was freaking out. He didn't know who was there, like he was going to protect his family. And so then it was just that flash of light. And then once again, back at lapse of time, probably like an hour and a half lapse of time, and even the neighbors didn't know what happened. So I suspect that they were probably taken too. We were all taken at
Oh,
that
that's
time.
amazing. Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
And you had a third one?
yeah. So this was the most recent one, and this was in 2019. It was December 24th, 2019. I had been listening to a podcast from James Gilliand, A City Ranch. and I fell asleep. So I had just fallen asleep and I woke up to the sound of like what you would hear in Star Wars, lightsaber opening up, beep, 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 all that like that. And I look and I see this dark, shadowy figure standing right there next to my bed. And I'm like, oh gosh, what is this? What is going on? I'm freaking out, right? Because I can see it. And it moved closer and I heard relax. And everything in me did not want to relax, but there was nothing I could do. So at that moment, I felt my body starting to spin and turn, and my dog was in the bed with me at the time, and I felt her rolling and spinning. And I did actually have a reading about this, and she confirmed that I was taken full body in this abduction. So I had probably 3.5 hours lapse of time, and you can imagine I come back to consciousness in my room, and I'm sitting there thinking, it is Christmas Day now, and now I have to start my day with what just happened to me. And it really it freaked me out. So who do you tell when something like that happens?
Right. Now you've had
But
3 experiences. Do you think it's possible that you have an implant?
oh, I know I do. I'm always working energetically to remove them. And I had 2 more experiences after that one. But I will say this, the only reason why I didn't lose my mind because it really how can I say it, psychologically traumatized me so bad. After that experience, then I had one more, and that one really got me. So if I didn't have psychic friends in place at this time and people that were experienced in this kind of thing, I probably could have ended up in a padded room. It was that traumatic. And
How did you get out of this trauma? How did you
um
work through it?
I just I went through all of the emotions. I had post-traumatic stress. I couldn't sleep. And since I'm a psychic medium myself, that I knew when they were close. And so I would feel them, but I couldn't see them, but I knew they were still around. And so I was hyper vigilant. It probably took me about 6 months to get, feeling like I was okay again, like really okay. Yeah.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep.
Have you had some sort of trauma to you or possible an out of body experience that could be NDE like that gave you this ability to be a medium?
Um, I think I've always been a medium. When I look back at my life, I've always been psychic. I always have known things. I'm an empath. But back when I grew up, there was nobody there to say, "Hey, Melissa, did you ever think maybe you're a psychic medium, an animal communicator, all of that stuff?" And that's a whole other story that I
Hmm.
have about how I discovered all of that. But the ET thing was something that really kind of set me back. But I feel like at this point, it's my mission to help other people to know that they're not alone if they experience traumatic experiences that nobody can explain. There's not a lot of support for people, that get taken against their will. And we are free will beings, we're sovereign beings. And so we're taught that. And so in the metaphysical, in the spiritual communities, I call it kind of a spiritual arrogance in a way. Like they don't acknowledge, like if it's not a rainbow, unicorn, or a kitten, they don't want anything to do with you. You know what I mean? So there's only a certain few people that will deal with stuff that's traumatic.
Now, those 3 instances that you described earlier were all of lost time, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
What, how do you know that that wasn't something that was, even though you don't remember them, how do you know it was traumatic? I mean, do you just have some kind of inner feeling, or is it possible that it wasn't traumatic since you don't
The
remember it?
the first one that I saw when they came in my room, that was traumatic because I saw them and I felt the force of me being taken. And so the one I had
Oh,
after that was the one that was traumatic. And so how I experienced it was I had one of my psychic friends explain to me because I didn't know really what was going on. Like it looked like I was in my room and they were in my room with me. But how she explained it was like I was in 4D, like I was in the 4D, but I was physically like aware. And they had put this helmet, like old school, like diving helmet over my head. And I was ready for them at this point. So I said to them, I command you to leave me alone in the name of Jesus Christ, because I figured, that anything evil would not be able to harm me if I spoke upon them the name of Jesus Christ. And they just looked at me, and that didn't do anything. And they proceeded to inject. They poked a big long needle in the back of this helmet, and it went into my skull. And I felt all that liquid go into my body, and I was sick for days after that. So, that's traumatic.
Have you ever seen any markings or bruises on your
Oh
body?
yeah, I have them all the time. I wake up with bruises on the side of my face. I have marks on my body, like little IV marks, and all the time they just don't go away.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting. I mean, why haven't you gotten hypnotized to see if you can see what happened? Is it, and I don't blame you, is it out of fear, or you lack
No,
of,
I just
don't know anybody, or just never really had an interest?
well, I have guides that I work with, and I've asked them, to help me and what's it about and all of this. So I have gotten a lot of answers from my guides,
Hmm.
and I just never really thought about, I mean, I've thought about doing like past life regressions and things like that, and I do that with people a lot. But I mean, for me, um, I never really, I guess maybe I could get hypnotized. I don't know. I didn't feel called to do that, but
Mm-hmm.
I guess I could
Well,
and find out.
I don't want to influence you. I was just
No,
curious.
no, I'm glad that you brought it up. I mean, I just wanted to work through it in my own way, and process it. And I actually I wrote a poem about it too, about
Cool.
what the experience did to me. Would you like me to read
Yeah,
it?
I was gonna say, let's hear it.
Okay, so it goes like this. I gotta change my glasses because I'm at that age where
You're
one
like
pair of
me.
glasses works for one thing and the other one doesn't.
Yep.
So down, 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 into the rabbit hole I go. There is no magic mushroom, only sober reality resides within the very reaches of the soul. Alice has nothing on me. Spiraling down, down, down into the depths of the rabbit hole, was reality ever really real? The physical eye now betrays you, visions now eyes wide open and closed tightly shut. Your physical ears heightened chaos. If only you could call Alice. Could she help you? Would your reality be less trippy, bizarre? Down, 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 into the rabbit hole I go. What will emerge when the soberly insane visions become your new forever reality? For there may never be what your eye did see before you spiraled down, down, down into the rabbit hole of your psychic reality. The dreamer is now the equivalent of the living dream, or so it may seem. Emerging from the rabbit hole, you peak above Earth's cold depths. Is it safe to emerge? Only Alice really knows.
Mm. I don't think you can hear this. You'll have to go back on the replay, but it's an applause. Great job.
You couldn't hear it?
Well, no, I could hear it. I'm saying I have a sound effect, but I don't think the guests hear it.
Oh,
When I
okay.
put it, the audience hears it, but the guest
Oh,
doesn't hear it. So
oh,
I put on this applause.
oh, I
So when
couldn't hear it.
yeah, you can't hear it, but when you go back later, you'll hear it. So I was giving you an
Oh,
applause. So it was a great
I
job.
have heard it.
Yeah,
I have.
yeah. So that was great.
That was
That's
after my
awesome.
my experience, like that's what I felt like. I felt like I was so alone, you know?
When do you? Well, it appears to me that all your um experiences may be malevolent ETs. Have you
Mm.
had any experience with benevolent ones?
Yes, I have. I have, and that's the beautiful thing. I have star family that are benevolent. Yes, Lyran beings,
Mm-hmm.
Lyran guides. I've been in meditation, and I was out there really far from the earth, and I had Orion show up as a guide.
Cool.
So I have some really I just felt like I wanted to share that because people like to know those, but I have so many more positive experiences than I do
Cool.
negative, and I don't dwell on the negative.
Well, that's okay. Do you have a
Yeah,
YouTube channel?
yeah, I do.
What is it
Uh,
called?
It's called Reverend Melissa Kennedy.
All right, guys. What kind of content are you posting there?
Okay, so I try to do a daily reading with tarot, oracle, runes, whatever I feel drawn. I have channel messages on there. I made predictions for this year. And believe it or not, I interview my people that I know, and I have a tiny little podcast myself.
Oh, great. That's awesome.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah,
great. So you guys can check it out. Do you have a website too or a Facebook
yeah.
page?
Yep, Reverend Melissa Kennedy. If they type that in, they'll find me on my website and wherever.
All right. Well, Melissa, thank you so much for coming and sharing. And maybe you can, Merlin's looks like he won't be back for a while or a couple weeks. Maybe you can, if you're up for it, maybe you can come one time and give us a group reading.
Yeah, I would love that. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for coming and sharing. It was a pleasure meeting you, and don't be a stranger.
I won't. I watch your podcast all the time. I love it.
Thank you so much.
Bye, Jeff. Bye,
All right,
everyone.
bye-bye. Well, another round of applause, even though you can't hear it.
No, I will not.
All right, the next one up is Mr. Cake. And I was watching Steven's walk and talk. I don't know if that's what he calls it. You know what? While we're waiting for Steven, I better catch up on these. There were 2 people that gave us super thanks. And I needed to thank them for that. And let me see if I get back like this. Ken Albert, thank you very much for that super thanks. And there's one other one. And it was Petey Pete? Yeah. And Petey Pete, thank you for that super thanks. We really appreciate it. And it says here, what if all 300 of us prayed before bed tonight? A great success, the JMP. What would happen? I would appreciate that, Pete. Thank you. Steven.
Got my energy.
We're not seeing you or hearing you. Why don't you leave and come back? Oh, there you are.
Okay.
Now you're there. Wait, you're there.
My hand.
But
You see me.
I see you. You're locking up. Maybe you'll stay. Let's see. You're freezing on me. I think maybe you'll be there now. Happy belated May the 4th to you.
May the 4th be with you.
I was watching your walk and talk, and you were talking about Star Wars. And he's frozen.
Yes, in the Enlightenment,
It's maybe, nope, you're freezing. Steven, why don't you try leaving and coming right back? I think last time we did that. Sometimes maybe you just don't have a good connection. I don't know if he can do that quickly or not, or if he's even hearing me. Let's see.
Okay, we'll try leaving.
Try leaving and popping back in. Maybe what I'll do is this. What I will do is, Steven, I'm not kicking you out. It looks like you're not even able to leave. I'm going to put you back in the waiting room. And then maybe, I don't know what happened, but we'll bring in Shira, and then we'll bring you back right afterwards. It may take you a few minutes to get back in anyways. And we haven't seen Shira for a while. I mean, I see her always in the chat. She's always here, but I haven't seen her on camera in a while. Shira, you look pretty. Welcome. You look good.
Hey.
Are you baking bread tonight and having coffee?
No. But yeah, Shabbos just ended, and I had a friend turn this on for me. The guy lives upstairs, so I could watch you before Shabbos ended. So, and I've been wanting to get to you the whole time. There's something that can you see me okay? Or
you're coming in? No, you're perfect.
Sideways or anything?
You
Okay.
are perfect.
Woo! Okay. So you have a guy on named Darius.
Darius, yeah, he was. That was a really popular video. People really. I thought it was
Yeah,
a great
so
video too. That was last Sunday, I think, or something.
yeah, and he's
Mhm.
like a master astral projection
Right.
guy.
Yes.
And so a lot of what he said, John Scott and I have a mutual friend, John,
Mm-hmm.
who astral projects every day.
Mm-hmm.
And he will wake up and it will be his room, but it's not his room.
Mm-hmm.
Or he will either be the person or see the person like it's him, but he's married with kids. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it's
Wow.
him, but he's down on his luck and drives a putt car, or and he sees my 10th grade astral 10th grade term paper was astral projection.
Mm-hmm.
So while other people were doing like how to make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, my term paper was astral projection.
Wow.
So and I can do it subconsciously. A lot of times you refer like what is conscious, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And so a way that I see it is that what we think the fight or flight in our mind, or that, we want ice cream, or that is your conscious, but your subconscious is your soul. So that's the way that I see it. And so in talking with our mutual friend and his astral, he sees me out astral projecting. Um, the last time I did it, I thought that I was either when I lean over, I've got chronic pain. So when I lean on my walker and I stretch the stenosis, the back pain out, it's easier on me. So I thought that I was just go because I could go really fast on my walker. I'll be 55 in 2 weeks. I'm walking like I'm 95.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought that I was just leaning on my walker, zooming to the window. And I said, if my hands go out, then of the window, then I'm astral projecting. And if they don't, okay, that's enough water. Hey. And if they don't, she gets something in mind in her head. She just like she'll drink water till it's all gone. But anyway, so that if I put my hands out, I'm astral projecting. But if I can't, then I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they did go out a little bit, and then I was like, I'm not doing that. So I zoomed back to my body. That fear, that thing that brings you right back to your body.
Right.
Okay. But anyway, he was talking about terms that you and I don't really use, like construct.
Yeah.
I had to Google that, and that means to build.
Mm-hmm.
And then the way he was saying realms isn't really what we're talking. It was just a terminology thing. And this is how I understand it. And the higher self, or as you like to say, the complete self, the higher self makes a loaf of bread. That's you. And then it goes to a bread slicer. It's still a loaf of bread. It's still you, but then there's these slices.
Like that.
And we are in each one of these slices. Like our mutual friend says, I see myself, but I'm married and I drive this car and I live in this area. So that's one slice of bread. And then you could be like me, I'm married and healthy and fabulously wealthy. It's another slice of bread. And then the other slice of bread is me now. I've got small place until you look at the places they rent in New York and you think, oh, wow, you got it made, kid. So, there's just different versions of you in that slice of bread, but you are that loaf of bread always.
Now, do you think it's possible that within those slices, one slice could be male and one slice could be female?
Absolutely.
Now, also, is it possible that you have to make more and more slices, that both of those slices are living at the same time in the
Yeah.
same realm?
Yeah.
Then if you
Yeah.
go
It's all
even
going
one,
on at the same time.
then if you go one step further, is it possible that you could be friends or in a relationship with another slice of bread, but it's still you?
Be in a relationship with another slice of. but it's still you.
because it's another slice. You know what I mean? One of the you meet somebody that
Like in another slice of bread, I'm married to somebody else, and we live in
you're married to
Beverly
another
Hills.
slice of bread, but it's actually you're married to yourself,
Oh, okay, okay, all right.
not
Um,
somebody else's complete slices of bread, but your own slice of bread.
right. I would think that there's only one soul in that slice of bread that's you. I do think that you are reflected in people that you see, or people that go off on you or cause you to be irritable or whatever. It's a reflection of you. But you being married to you, I think there's enough souls out there that we can add another soul to that slice of bread.
Well, I'm just thinking about it, and if I take it one step further, imagine a massive, giant slice of bread, and because that's what some people think, that we're all God. So every slice here is every one of us, which all, if you put us back together, is one big loaf, which is God.
I am so glad you brought that up. We are not God. We could not handle that amount of energy in ourselves. We have a spark, all of this spark and reincarnation and slices of you. Judaism has been talking about it for 3, 4, 5,000 years. It is so wild. Almost every person, I think 1 out of 10 are a little off. But so the other 9, when they tell about their stories, I'm like, that's talked about in the Talmud. That's talked about in the Torah. That's talked about in Tanakh. Or it's just amazing. To me, it's confirmation.
Hmm.
But yeah, as far as you meeting yourself, I mean, anything's possible.
Right.
Anything's possible. If you can imagine it, and we use like maybe 10% of our brain. So if you can imagine it, it's real. I mean, we're not these brilliant starlight souls, we're trying to learn and go back to with God.
A new thing that I heard with Darius, and that was the first time I've heard of it, and I should have asked him more about it, but we were covering so much stuff, was he mentioned the halls of Amenti. Have you heard of that before? Anybody in the chat have heard of that?
No, I haven't, but it makes total sense that the Akashic records are of this earth and of our history, but there are multiple universes and billions of planets, and we go to others. So it would make sense that there's another place where we can access those records. I mean, I want to go, and I love Noah. I just love him. So I want to go and sit and watch Noah's complete life, But if I wanted to know what was on planet Zimby Wabi Doodah, then I could go to another place and get those. But yeah, the book of life, and that's what we do in Yom Kippur. The book of life is open. Rosh Hashanah is the new year, and we're at 5783. So if every day is 1,000 years, by the time the year 6,000, we should be going into the 7th day, which is the Sabbath, the time of rest, and that will last 1,000 years. So everybody's been going, something's going on, and I think we're coming to an end. And so yeah, we are. And Judaism has been saying this for hundreds and hundreds of years, that we're at 5783. By the year 6,000, we will go into that period of rest where the lions meet the lambs, and there's no evil, and 2/3 of the world will be taken out, and so it will just be, there will be no more evil. And God had to create evil so that we could have free will. Because if everything was rainbows and butterflies, you would have no choice. It would just be rainbows or butterflies.
Right. Well, Shira, on that note, I have to run.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. I'm glad to see you. It's been a long time since we've seen you, and I hope to see you again.
Absolutely. I'm watching every day. You know that.
I know
I
that.
love you guys so much.
All right. Thank you
And
so
I love
much.
our
We love you
community
too.
too.
All right.
All right.
Bye
Thanks.
bye. And there's a big round of applause for Shira. All right. Let's bring in Steven. And I was going to say, maybe on next week you can come. If you're still there, Melissa, if you come at 7. And then we can do that right at the beginning of the podcast. Yeah, next Saturday. Well, hello there.
Well, hello, darling. I love these orbs. They give me power.
They are the power
Green
orbs.
makes me feel warm and cuddly. The blue gives me a heart, darling. And the purple makes me think of others, how wonderful they are. I put them together in my juggling act.
Let's see it. Those are some live orbs. Is it 3 or 4 of them that you have?
Currently I have 3 right now. Yeah.
Where did you get those?
I bought them online. They're LED.
They're really cool.
Yeah, they are cool. I like going out, showing off to people. Boom, boom, boom.
Hey, wow.
Yeah, I like telling people God just made it easy. Today I went to a church, and after their they had a little song and dance, and they had some grapes out, and I would just go up to people and say, you know how I eat grapes? I just throw them up in there and I catch them. It's like, because God made it easy for me to do that. That's what I said. But in the Enlightenment, they said, there is no God, darling. There is no God. And I said, who's giving me these abilities? Where are they coming from? They said, they don't know. They're just there. I said, fine, I'll take them.
We can call you Stephen the Juggling Philosopher.
The juggling fool, darling. Yeah, so I said, I had this scale where I said, gifts were on a scale. And I said, up at the top, like, it's effortless. Like, they would just, because I said, like, I had all my impressions. I said some of them took effort to do. Mm-hmm. Other of them I could do easy. Yeah, so they made it so it's like, in juggling, this is how they explained it to me. It's throwing, catching, movement, my reaction speed. I like to say they even made it easier for me to do puzzles. They taught me all these lessons, like make good eye contact with people.
Well, I was I was getting back to your video I was watching today about Star Wars, and you were talking about May the 4th. And do you feel like Star Wars is more of an action movie or a spiritual movie?
Yeah, I actually talked about that in one of my videos. I said,
that's what I watched.
Reality is kind of more like the Star Wars, the Force, because the Force doesn't care if you're good or evil. George Lucas explained it like that. He said, the Sith, they just want what they want, but the Jedi, they want to help people, and so their pleasure is different. He said you don't get as much. It's more about our selfish desires versus, this is what they teach me in the Enlightenment. They say people want what they want and they like what they like. And they said sometimes they like juggling, sometimes they like impressions, but they all want to be loved. They all want to be told they're great, darling. I love this show. Psychic Steve on here. We're channeling your grandma. Your grandma says hi. Yeah, during the Enlightenment, I talked to a lot of people because they had this mind interface. I don't know how it works, but it's like an overlay on reality. And like I was talking to comedians, and one of the lessons they taught me was like, it's easy to go dark with comedy because you can just use some foul words or whatnot. So most in that game world that I talked about, most of the comedians ended up in hell. Wow. Because they were just, it was just too, but hell was more like a holding pen. It wasn't like that bad. So it wasn't as bad. But I did go to hell in a dream where when I closed my eyes, I would start hearing all these voices around me, these really negative voices, and they drained my energy down. And when oh man, it was bad. When I went down there, and my dreams were more vivid too. They increased my dreams.
Now, do you still believe that whatever you believe, that's reality? Nothing is real or nothing is correct. It's just whatever you believe. That's it.
Yeah, this is what they told me. I said, what's the correct belief system? Because that's what I was looking through, all the religions and all the spirituality, and like no one could agree on anything. They weren't agreeing. This is the truth. And I asked, what's the truth? And they said, there is no truth, but it's people got to believe something. So there's no correct belief system. So your belief system, it's because I would say, oh, how did I believe? Why did I believe that? And they said, you're not stupid. You just believed it. because I believed in this. Man, my game world, the way they explained it is that we had oversouls and that we came into this game world, and Mary and the father, it was Mary's will. Father was the grand designer. They had Adam and Eve. It was an old world. The earth was old, but they had superpowers. They were like special humans who created life. And then eventually they made magical dinosaurs that turned on them. And then it was like an analogy to Jurassic Park, where they gave me an analogy to Jurassic Park where they create these dinosaurs. They shouldn't have. Dinosaurs are coming to get you. And then it's like, how do you get it back? It's like, they got it back. How'd they get that dinosaur back in that building? It's like, they got it back in there. How'd they do that? It's crazy. It's science run amok. I'd say they're not do that anymore.
Well, I was thinking about how you were talking about the Force. Imagine if the Force is, it's almost like a belief system. Whatever, if you want good or bad, it doesn't matter.
That's right. It didn't matter if you're good or evil in that movie. You could still use the Force. I talked to God the Father. So in the mind interface, I talked to God the Father, and we talked about George Lucas and about how he had his game world, and he was retelling the story about how he was Darth Vader. He was Anakin, and he explained like the Emperor lied to him, and he was angry with the Emperor because he said he would give him all these powers. And they explained about how there was all these different abilities that they didn't quite get. Like they said, the voice comm, that blue voice comm. They said that they were supposed to that was supposed to be a force power. And it was funny because at the time I went around, I told some people about this, and they loved hearing about it. I wish I had it all recorded and I could. But yeah, it was really interesting because they said, the speeder bikes could go way faster. They could throw their lightsabers. They would throw it and then turn it on as they're throwing it. So they'd throw it at the target, turn it on, and pull it back at the same time as a maneuver. Yeah, and that didn't make it into the movie.
Have you ever seen those videos that people create? And I think they're amazing, where you'll see from the original Star Wars, Obi-Wan talking to Luke, and he'll start talking to him about, your father was a good friend. And then they flash into scenes from the prequels of Obi-Wan young.
What I told you was true. Yes, what I told you was true from a certain point of view. It's like they got that kind of relativism in there. And so in my worldview, like, or it's like, was that Obi-Wan, the ghost coming back, or was that the grand mind? And that's why I said it's like that mind can generate, just like at the end of the movie Contact, or not it wasn't the end, but Jane talks to this person that looks like her father. Mm-hmm. It's like, that's the mind interface. They can show up as anyone, anything. Like I had conversations with Joe Rogan. I was like, oh, what's it like on his show? Mm-hmm. All right, let's and they had me talk to a therapist and talk to a judge, and like they could have me like I said, comedians. Deceased comedians. But you can also talk to people that are alive, in this mind interface.
Do you think that you could do Donald Trump talking about NDEs and about belief systems and the mind jackers?
Let me tell you something. Yeah, that's kind of funny. They do a halfway. The mind jackers do a halfway. Like they kind of take me over. That's not acting. If you watch that, like I am not acting. They will not let me say certain stuff. And I go, why not? And they say, we're just not going to let you do that. And they start taking me over. And I say, why not? And he said, because I told you to. Come on, let me say it. No, they won't let me. God told me to do it. Why not? It's like, let me tell you something, folks. Let me tell you what we're going to do in this country. Man, you would not want to hear they say our country's not looking too good on that one. Because I asked them, like, so they correct me. It's like right now, it's like an intelligent voice that can correct me on anything. But they can also mess with me too. So mess with me, darling. They can take me right over.
They
I
can
do.
just, but they're not controlling you though.
They won't leave. I say like God moved in. I said someone knocked at my door and like we're moving in. Yeah, and they do my mind. They create these funny imagery for me to do too.
Interesting. Well, for everybody, if you don't know, Steven has a YouTube channel. That's what we were talking about earlier. He does walk and talk videos. He does impressions. He does juggling. He even has some videos of orbs. I know at least one. I've seen it.
Yeah. So it was weird during the Enlightenment. I'd say, well, who's doing that? And they said, they'd say there's no paranormal, but man, I went through this one phase. I felt like I was in a dual world. Yeah, where like I had to say all these blessings and like objects were moving. Yeah, it's like in my room and like, man, they said like bugs were like detectors, like the evil side. So like flies in your room could detect you, and then they had this thing. Oh man, it was like kind of frightening. Like I had to hide under my covers. I didn't make sense. Like it was like because there's a saying like the devil is like a lion that prowls around. It's like, but they were like sending probes around. Yeah, the evil forces were sending probes around looking for and they said I was like, because when you got put into, I called it the God slot. When you got put into that God slot, then the detectors went off for the evil side that they know where you're at, so they're going to come after you. And so I felt like I was in a war, and they had to put me in this game where I had to battle for people's souls. And then all psychic information came along with it because I was, can we say the name? Yeah, Tulsi Gabbard. And it's like, we got to pray. I sent in angels, and I had to go in, send my character in. I was a commander. I know it's hard to explain the whole thing, but Archangel Michael was like right on. I called it the mind interface. He was right to my left there. Jesus could do anything. And we battled for people's souls, and we tried to free up demons because there's an unseen world of demons that were tormenting people, bothering people. And they could be battled. Yeah. So, but this was all game world at the end of it. We don't know when people would leave the game, but they said this world would just stay on, but everyone would be enlightened. Because I thought everyone would be enlightened. Like Jesus said, the greater miracles. See, I believe that we'd get them once we got world peace, then we get enlightenment, then we get the greater miracles.
So are you saying that this realm that we live in, this life, this place is a game world?
That's what I believe. Currently, right now, this is what they tell me. They said, you just live. That's it. There's just reality. They don't even say you die. You just live. Because I said, I don't want to die. And they said, nobody does. Nobody does. So that's why I hang on. That's why I don't want to end my life. That's why I was begging to God on my hands and knees. And then that's when it all started. They started talking. They said, we always talk to you as your intuition. Because I say the greater mind can talk to people, but they can make it seem like it's your thoughts. But they can make it seem like it's coming from somewhere. They can do, but it's not they. But I say they, but there's no other way to explain it. It seems like someone's doing it. Well, just like when someone's pressing on my bed, I say, who's doing that? I said, nobody. It's just reality. It's somehow are manifesting somehow. Like fires starting. Like I talked to a psychic once. The candles were popping. They were just popping. And it's like, if you say, who's doing that? She would say, your grandpa's doing that. But if I ask the mind jackers, that's a joke I call because they moved in. Hijacked my mind. They got me, folks. They got me. We're doing it now. Let's do some live channel. Darling, darling, I will channel the great spirit from beyond. Give us the great message, great spirit.
Well, Stephen, I've got to do what I've got to do. You know how it is.
I love you all.
We love you, Stephen. Thanks for coming and visiting. Have a great night and a great week. We'll see you next Saturday, brother.
Bye.
Oh, wow. He was gone fast. We got to give him a round of applause. All right. Eric B is here. Let's see what's up with Eric B. says joining. Oh, and by the way, while he's joining, I wanted to mention again that I started having videos dubbed over my voice and the guest voice in Spanish and Portuguese. My first one is posted. If you go to the homepage, our homepage, I made a new playlist and it's there and it says videos in Spanish and Portuguese. That's my first one there. And I worked on basically all the, I don't know, not translation, but worked on the transcript of the second one today, and I finished it and submitted it. So hopefully in a couple days that will be there. Eric, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
You're in the
okay,
black
just a
void.
second.
We don't see you. Here you go.
Okay. There he is.
Hey, Eric. Eric's here.
Oh.
If you guys don't know Eric, Eric was a guest of mine. By the way, something's blocking your camera.
I don't know what it is. Oh, okay. Sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So Eric was
Yeah,
here. What was your podcast number? I forgot. Do you remember?
Oh. No, the title was He Was Saved by Archangel Michael, but I forgot the podcast number.
Okay.
742, but I'm not sure.
Probably something like that. Well, what's going on tonight? What do you got to share with us?
I have a funny story that happened to me about 2.5 years ago, and I think people are going to enjoy it because it's it really shows how much we're constantly being listened by God, who's constantly listening to all our thoughts and words. And so I'm gonna tell the story in a linear way because that's how I lived it. You're probably gonna figure out the punchline at the beginning, but I didn't anyways. So I was doing cooking, making a spaghetti sauce actually, and while I was listening to a documentary about David Bowie, the singer, David Bowie, or whatever his name is in English. And while in the documentary, there was a song called Heroes. You know that song? The lyrics is, we can be heroes just for one day.
I don't know that song, but then I'm not too familiar with his catalog.
Okay. Well, I heard the lyric, we can be heroes just for one day. And while I was cooking, I thought about that. I say, that would be great. You know, nothing serious, just thought about it. I'd like to be a hero for one day. And, you know, just had a thought and contemplated that thought for a few seconds and continued cooking, totally forgot about it. About 3 days after that, there's a guy that comes here, driving a four-wheel, a little, it's like a motorcycle with four wheels. I don't know, how do you call them in English?
Four-wheeler.
We call them a four-wheeler. Okay, we call them VTT in French. He's like freaking out. He's 80 years old. I barely know him. He lives on the other side of the lake, and he says he's looking for his dog. He has a very small Chihuahua, and he lost it. And there's miles of forest here, and he's totally freaking out. He's been driving, trying for hours looking for the dog, and I'm like, and I have a Chihuahua actually here, right here, a small one. So I really feel the compassion, and I get into the zone, you know, that zone. I say, okay, I'm gonna find it. He leaves, and I said to myself, there's miles of forest, and there's bears, and there's foxes, and there's a small dog. I said, you know, it's not looking good. But I said to myself, use your senses. Don't try to figure out with your brain. Just feel where he is. And I instinctively walk towards the lake. I get right near the lake, and I listen, and I can hear far away barking. And I'm like, oh, this is great. It's got to be him. I hear a dog barking. And so I jump on my dirt bike and I go in the direction of where the bark is, and I pinpoint it, and I realize the bark is coming from there's a part of the lake which has like floating islands with a tall grass. And I go get the old man. I'd say, your dog is in there. I can hear him. So he takes his kayak. I go back home. I take my kayak, and we go into that area. So he's too old, and I say, look, I'm gonna just park my kayak and go and try to jump on these floating islands and capture the dog. And I did, actually, and it was very hard to do that because I had to jump in the water and then make it on one of the floating islands. But when you walk on the island, it sinks, and the tall grass actually traps you. It's like they're like death traps. So animals can't go there. Only birds. They make their nest there, and they know that the coyotes and the foxes won't be able to go there. Anyways, I don't know how this little Chihuahua was able to jump, but he was stuck, and he's been there for hours, and it was very, very cold and windy. I'm able to capture the dog and bring him back to the kayak. I give it to him, and he goes home, to his home. 3 days later, I see him at the mailbox. 2 miles down the road is where we have our communal mailbox. He opens his arms and he looks at me. He says, "Ah, the hero," and hugs me. I'm like, oh, really happy. I go back home. Then I realize, wait a minute. Like 4 or 5 days ago, I asked that, but it wasn't serious. So then I was like laughing. I laughed. So like God actually heard that and said, "Okay, I'll send you this crisis happened." The guy actually drove with his 4-wheeler, to home to get me, and I was like, "Wow, this is incredible! The synchronicities." My dream was, was fulfilled, and I became a hero. But I guess it happened because I was totally detached. I just said it with no intentions. I was hoping it would happen, but, and it happened. And at that point, I realized I got to be careful everything I say and everything I think, because we're constantly being watched and heard. And sometimes, it doesn't manifest, but sometimes it does. And it could manifest in a negative way, and I've had that happen to me.
If everything is stored in the Akashic records or the halls of Lamenti, then by definition, I don't know if you're being watched, but everything that happens is recorded.
Yeah, but I mean, our thoughts are vibrations, and somebody's hearing them, our thoughts and our desires. Because I was hearing the song "We Can Be Heroes" for one day. I said, "Yeah, well, I want to be a hero," and then just synchronicities happen, and I didn't ask him. He actually went to me and said, "Hey, you're the hero," and I was like, that's when I was like, "Oh my God, this is so funny." The humor in this, and God has a sense of humor. This was the funniest thing, and the dog survived, little Chihuahua. And everything ended well, and it was a very magical day. And I was like, "Wow, life is wonderful sometimes."
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you manifested that. You manifested yourself into a hero position.
Yeah, I guess it's because I was detached. Because when you're attached, you want, for example, if I say I want to be a millionaire, buy a lottery ticket. Hasn't worked. I tried that. Never works. Yeah. But because I guess I wanted too much, but I didn't really care about. I was making spaghetti sauce. I want to be a hero for one day, and it happened, and it came to my house. I mean, how amazing is that? It's just there's something to understand in there, but I just wanted to share that funny story.
I guess it's, something to experiment with, is put to the universe what you want, but have no attachment to it and see what happens.
It's got to be the secret to just to be totally detached. And I guess if it's for a greater good, it will happen. If it's not, maybe, maybe God knows, well, you shouldn't get that. That's not good for you. Or that's good for you, need that. Or there's, probably a lot of people, if they had the $1 million, it probably would kill them. They would become, horrible people. Whatever it could have, a lot of millionaires have had it actually wrecked their lives totally to become rich. They became jerks and drug addicts or whatever, and they died. And I've heard that many times. So it's not always what we think is good is not always good, but I guess God knows what is good for us, or our higher self, or whatever it is that takes that decision to manifest or not manifest the thing. So funny. That was a funny story.
Well, Eric,
I just wanted to share that.
Thank you for coming and sharing with us.
My pleasure.
Good
I love your show,
again.
Jeff.
Thank you. We love you for being a part of it.
You're going for the 100,000.
We're almost
100,000 subscribers.
We
You're gonna get
almost there.
You're gonna get that thing they send you by the mail. There's like a special.
Right. And once I get it, I'm gonna open it. I am going to open it live here on my Saturday night. So when it comes in the mail, I'm gonna leave it in the package, and I'm gonna unpackage it here because and share it with you guys, and we'll open it together.
Okay.
And we'll have to.
We're gonna have some cocktails.
Right.
We're gonna celebrate.
I don't know about
open
that,
a bottle of wine.
We'll have to have something.
Okay.
All right, brother.
See you then.
Well, take care.
See you.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Mm-hmm.
Cheers.
And a big round of applause. Oh, he's gone. And we got Leslie here. And we haven't seen Leslie in a while. Right. Mm-hmm. I was about to. Mr. Leslie, hello, and thank you for that super thanks. We appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And,
I'm so very happy to be here.
Now, I want to let everybody know that the paranormal party doesn't have to stop now. You're still doing your live playing, right?
Right.
So I'm about to finish up. You appear to be my last guest. So if everybody wants to keep hanging out, a paranormal party doesn't have to stop. You can go over to Leslie's channel. He's going to be channeling live music for you. And you guys can keep hanging out. There's 355 of you here. So that's a lot of people. And you guys are chatting with each other in the chat here. So, maybe if you want to keep hanging out with Leslie, there you go. While you're here, Leslie, do you have anything that you want to share with us? Anything
just
new?
Really thought in my heart for once a month. I just want to show up for I am here in live also. And greetings to you and your audience. For I'm very appreciated. Many times, after your podcast, coming and visit from 100 to even 200 people, visiting, and I really enjoy. And I'm very happy I also receiving some very positive response for some healing, but not so much credit for me. But the music, as we know, is a frequency, and just channeling through the Holy Spirit from God. People can receive message or healing or deliverance or such things, what is a life experience. So it's a wonderful connection and possibility today. And I'm very happy for you. Very soon we can hear your music.
Yeah.
For your music is amazing things. I'm not a man for word and for explaining and for who and for ET and UFO or this, I'm very interested and very open for. I do not believe UFO, but No, I saw UFO, so I know for UFO. So I have a lot of stories in my life also. But music, it's really the things what I believe the Creator, the wonderful God, the source, the divine, in another way we can say also for our Heavenly Father God, given for me this gift for channeling, spontaneously play to you and everyone who can listen and have some heart to come.
While you're here, before we finish up, would you like to give a sample for a couple minutes of what you will be playing on your channel?
Okay, so you asking me for after your
right now. If you want to play for a couple minutes, we have a lot of people here, and you can show them. You give them a preview of what's going to be going on your channel.
Okay, but first, da da da, da da da, da da da.
Oh,
It's
there he
coming,
is.
flying. Is there something?
Because maybe there's a lot of new people here that have not heard you play before, and when I'm telling everybody if they want to go hang out with you and listen to you channel music and hanging out in the chat, now you can, give a quick demonstration of what you'll be up to in your channel. And by the way, his YouTube channel is called Leslie Kings, right? You may want to put a link in the chat.
Exact, just the name, Leslie Kings. Simple. Yes.
Do you know what the solfeggio tones are?
Oh, yes.
Can you play something with solfeggio tones?
I think so. I often playing, but maybe not true mechanistically. What I doing is really channeling. So I doing in knowledge level.
Right.
But many times what you share is included, definitely. But what is true, I use most of all the time the 5 to 8 hertz creative God's creations hertz or frequency, what is give this lifting up feelings for. Yeah, this is what is basically what the Lord gave me my heart to use.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, well,
okay.
Let's hear your keys to make sure it's working.
Yeah, I just changed, so I think it's...
Yeah, we hear it. All right. Whenever you're ready, you let us know.
It's really going on.
Yeah, it sounds beautiful. You ready? Go ahead. you can't hear it, but there's a big applause for you. That was awesome. So if you that's a preview of what's going to be going on Leslie's channel. So if you guys want to keep your party rolling, pop on over to Leslie's. He'll be there performing for you.
Many people, I'm sure, will sleep.
Now it's
but this is very good.
Yeah.
I share a secret before.
Okay.
This time after your service, when I played a 30 minutes, I made a playlist in my YouTube channel. Wow, what is the name? If I don't by the moment I check what the name was, but it's a very simple name. And why interesting? This is here, this is Leslie King's playlist. And okay, it's here. And showing the telephone. Okay, it's here. Yeah, just music from heaven. So go to the playlist and look at this just music from heaven. These 30 minutes playing the last few weeks, they put it together so you can enjoy. I need to kill all advertisements, so sorry for some is may continue there, but I really want that people even enjoying for 5, 6, 7 hours this spontaneous love music, what I always channeled. So don't forget the name for who is interested to enjoying. And this is just music from heaven. Of course, if you have a premiere already or YouTube, you have no advertisement, so there's no problem. But I also trying to do the best for I really don't making little cent for people look at the advertisement, but people enjoying and they can really receiving from God the power, the deliverance, the healing, and joy.
Well, Leslie, thank you again. I've got to run. It's the end of my night, so if I guess you'll be waiting for them. And thanks for coming and hanging out with us.
And our last word always, God bless you.
Thank you, and God bless you. All right, we'll see you later, Leslie. Don't report, and another round of applause for Leslie. What is the best way to get on my show? From Austin Townsend. Are you saying right now, as in how to join up? Because you would just go to Zoom and you would just click join a meeting. And then what you would do is in the description there is, you've had OBEs, all right? In the description you have I have that. Well, actually, if you want to pop in right now, we'll keep going, Austin. What you do is you go to Zoom, click join a meeting, and then once you do, it'll ask you for the room ID, and then it'll ask you for the password, and it's right there for you. So you just click on that, join, and we'll be together. Okay, so we'll wait. We'll hang around a few minutes and see if you're gonna make it. There was something else I was thinking about telling you guys, and I forgot. I was thinking about it, and I don't know what happened. Or Austin, you can always come next Saturday night as well. People are leaving. Maybe they thought I finished. Either way is fine with me. Hard to say. So while we're waiting, again, tomorrow nights is a UFO contactee that I'm talking to, Sinead Wellahan. Monday night is Shakina Rose, an NDEer who's had 3 NDEs, and most likely Tuesday night I'm supposed to be recording with another UFO person and Alex Ferrari. Maybe I'll post Alex's on Tuesday night, the UFO on Wednesday night, and then I don't have my computer on, so I can't tell you who are the next ones. Actually, I need to turn it on. Let me turn it on for a second. Maybe it'll pop on. I wanted to turn it on anyways. I could do next Saturday. All right, Alex. Well, let's just have you come back next Saturday, and we'll be here. We're here every Saturday, so let's see you next Saturday, and then we'll that'll give us even probably more time, anyways, to go through your OBEs. So on that note, I want to tell everybody thank you for coming with us and being here on Saturday night. Thank you for watching our videos. We appreciate you guys. We love you guys. God bless you. Good night.